Good afternoon. My name is Konstantinos. I would like to welcome you to another video for the Federal Decree Law number 33 of 2021 regarding the regulation of employment relationships and its amendments of the United Arab Emirates. And today we are going to see Article 10 of the particular law. And the Article 10 title is Non-Competition Clause. And we are able to find it in the page 18 of the particular law document. 18, let's go 18. And Article 10, non-competition clause. Article 10 in total have 4 paragraphs or 4 distinct clauses. Let's start. Clause 1. If the work assigned to the worker allows him to gain knowledge of the employer's clients or have access to its work secrets, the employer may require that the worker under the employment contract shall not, after the expiry of the contract, compete with the employer or be engaged in any competing project in the same sector, provided that the requirement is specified in terms of time, place and type of work to the extent necessary to protect the legitimate business interest. The non-competition period shall not be more than 2 years from the expiry date of the contract. So, for example, the worker may work for a telecommunications company and for a long time period, for 3 years, for 6 years, and the employer there might be a clause in the worker contract indicating that the particular worker under the contract terms could not be able to work in a competitive company for a period of 2 years. And if he do so in the particular time frame, then the worker would be liable under the United Arab Emirates laws. Let's continue. Clause 2. This requirement shall be nullified if the employer terminates the employment contract in violation of the provisions hereof. So if the employer illegally terminates the employment contract, then the terms and conditions of the contract will not have any effect. For example, the non-competition period mentioned in the particular contract. Clause number 3. The claim filed by the employer for the worker's violation of the provisions of this article shall not be heard if 1 year has passed from the date of discovering the violation. So, if a worker violates, proceed with the violation in accordance to the clause 1 of the Article 10 of the present law, and even though the employer had knowledge of the particular incident, of the particular violation, proceed with proceed by filing a claim in according to the particular violation to the United Arab Emirates law system, the particular claim will be not valid if the filing of the claim was made after a year has passed. After a year has passed of the knowledge of the particular violation. So if, let's say, if the contract was expired and the employer, for any reason, had not offered an additional contract to the worker, and after a period of 6 months, the worker, in the example of the telecommunications provider, chose to sign a different contract with a competitor. And this came in the knowledge of the original employer, let's say. And if a year passed from the date of the knowledge, if a year passed by and after the year the original employer chose to file a how to say, let me read it again. Simply, if the original employer filed a claim after a period of 365 days, then the claim is not valid according to the clause 3 of the Article 10. And lastly, the clause 4, the implementing regulation hereof defines the provisions regulating this article, skill levels or occupations that may be excluded from the provision of clause 1 of this article in accordance with the conditions and rules specified by the regulation. The implementing regulation hereof defines the provisions regulating this article, skill levels or occupations that may be excluded from the provision of clause 1 of this article in accordance with the conditions and rules specified by this regulation. In essence, the implemented law document defines the provisions regulating the Article 10 of the loan document, and in addition, in the context of the particular loan document, we will be able to find the skill levels or occupations that may be excluded from the provisions of clause 1 of the particular article in accordance with the conditions and rules specified by the regulation. And this is the end. I believe the conditions and rules specified by the regulation means the articles mentioned in the particular loan document. In any case, this is Konstantinos. Thank you for watching the particular video, and see you on the next one. Have a nice day.